Today is September 19, 2022, and this video is about was the moon landing was real. And how I feel about it, I don't think NASA didn't go up there. I mean, I've been watching this one YouTuber. This one guy. He wrote a book about it named Barcelona, and he also got videos on YouTube. And he also had made two documentaries. One is funny thing on the way to the moon, and the other video is about astronauts going wild. And he got the book called Moon Man he released last year, and I had bought the book. I didn't really read it too much because I was distracted doing other stuff. He's the one who actually exposed it because he ate dinner with Joe Rogan back in 1997, and Joe Rogan was a huge believer into the moon landing was a hoax. And when I was younger, I wanted to become an astronaut, and I was so obsessed with NASA because I watched all the science fiction movie, and I wanted to go into outer space and stuff when I was younger, and I wanted to become an astronaut. But that's another video. I'm gonna do more into that whole NASA stuff. When I was younger, I wanted to become an astronaut, and the whole thing about the moon landing. Why was the moon landing? Why do I don't believe the moon landing was real? Because if we done went to the moon, the Russians would have went up there with us, and we would have went to other planets and all that stuff. And why did they fake the moon landing? But I think they faked the moon landing was to show the whole world America was a superior country, because during the 1960s, when we was getting our ass kicked in Vietnam, and the whole world looked at America wasn't that quote-unquote military superior power, when we were losing Vietnam big time and stuff. And the best way to see the whole world into believing America was superior and great was faking a moon man landing, by faking it. Why did the Russians did something about it? Here's what I think. I think the U.S. gave Russia something, and I don't think it was money, but I think they gave Russia something. For Russia to keep quiet about it, because if you notice this, I believe the Cold War came to the end back in the 1960s after the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't believe the Cold War came to the end back in the 1991 when the USSR fall. But no, I think the Cold War came to an end right after the Cuban Missile Crisis, because both of those countries saw they couldn't nuke each other, and they couldn't go to war with each other because it would destruct the whole world. And they both had a fear of, if either one of them had lost the war or whatever, they had a fear about a third power. If both of these countries would have went to war and they would have destroyed each other, a third country would have had risen and became a global power. And they didn't want to see a third nation rising and becoming a major power, and both of them would have destroyed each other. So they had a mutual agreement not to go to war with each other, and they knew if they used nukes, it wouldn't have been no winner. The whole world would have been destroyed by radiation. So I believe the Cold War came to an end after the Cuban Missile Crisis. And no, I don't believe they went to the moon. No way. I was looking at a Barcelona video last night when he was being interviewed by some guy. I don't know what his name was. And this guy talked about, he saw a video a couple years ago when Elon Musk was asked about the moon mission, and Elon Musk said, we don't got the technology to go up there. And that make a lot of sense, because Elon Musk, he sent the Tesla up in space back in 2018. Everybody know that shit was fake as fuck. I saw it, man. It was fake as fuck. I don't think they can go into real orbit. That's how I'm believing. I'm doing another video about the whole flat Earth thing, explaining more about that. And no, I don't believe because number one, if you'd have went to the moon, they would have sent the monkey up there before they sent the human up there. Because you don't send a human to an off-world colony and don't know what actually up there. But no, why it was easy to deceive people back in the 60s? Because you had all the science fiction movies back then. You had Artemis 2001, you had the Twilight Zone, you had Planets of the Apes when they went to all the world. You had all these science fiction movies back in the 1960s showing NASA and the U.S. going to other planets, and it was easy to see the people. I was looking at a couple months ago, I was looking at a video of the first Apollo mission going to the moon, and it looked at fake as fuck. It looked at fake as fuck, like a science fiction movie. They was showing when they was going to the moon, and in 1969, it looked fake as fuck. I mean, no, these guys never left low Earth orbit. I don't even think they even left Earth, period, as far as I believe. And like I said, I'm not saying. I mean, in the '60s, it was easy to fool people back in the '60s, especially back then when the technology was primitive back then, especially when you had all the science fiction movies back then, like Twilight Zone. All these science fiction movies were running around back then when they were showing the U.S. went to all these other planets back in the 1960s, doing all these sci-fi movies. So it was easy to fool the people. And you notice this, they only went to the moon under one U.S. president. And that's kind of odd too. And they show Nixon allegedly calling these guys from the moon and all this. I mean, we can't even get cellular phones sitting on in fucking Death Valley in California, or sometimes in other places here in the U.S. We can't even get fucking cellular phones sitting on sometime, and here go the fucking president allegedly calling these guys on the moon without any fucking interruption communication. Get the fuck out of here. I don't believe that shit. I mean, it was easy to fool the people back then because the technology was primitive. It's like what Joe Rogan said. Nobody didn't know years later you can wind that stuff back, slow it down, edit it, look at it at a different angle. Either Joe Rogan, he don't even believe these guys went to the moon either, but he ain't gonna come out and blatantly say it no more because he's a popular person, he's a popular podcaster, but he really don't believe that moon mission was either real either. I mean, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk know the moon mission was fake too. I'm pretty sure they told him. He's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure he know it too. But Bart Sorrell, for example, he actually crushing these astronauts. And some of their stories, man, was fucking lame as fuck. He caught some of these guys and they lied. But no, I don't believe the moon mission never happened. I don't believe nobody really went up there. Had they done any secret missions up there, the U.S. and the Russians? I don't know. But I damn sure don't believe those Apollo mission was real as fuck. I'm damn sure they never. Damn sure don't believe in on those Apollo mission at all. I mean, they could have had went up there on a secret mission. Who knows? We don't know. Joe Rogan think that too. They could have had went up there on a secret mission. Maybe we don't know. Who knows? But I definitely don't believe in the Apollo mission being real at all. I don't believe guys like no Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. I don't believe those guys went up there, and those other Apollo dudes went up there either. But I mean, it's sad as fuck you live in a country where your own government actually faked the moon mission because they wanted to show the whole world they were superior in technology because they were getting their ass kicked in Vietnam. And then they wanted to go up there in the last of the 60s or the last decade because JFK said in the early decade we wanted to get a man to the moon before the end of the decade as well. And that's all I got to say about that.